Alright everyone, it's time to analyze the Antifa victory garden and the progress, as you could say, there in Seattle in the autonomous zone. It's a bunch of LARPing, and for the two people that aren't aware, a bunch of communists are pretending that they've staged a revolutionary movement in Seattle and they've taken over several blocks, including a park, and they're trying to plant what they call a farm. If you look at the progress from this, it's not very good. I already explained yesterday, like they put down a bunch of cardboard and then they put the soil directly on top of it. And they were trying, I guess, to punch holes in the cardboard, which is like, it kind of defeats the fucking purpose, I guess. They should have thought differently. They should be planning longer term, but I suppose they realize that in a few days, probably half the people will have wandered off because they'll run out of their soy supplements. But the first day, they had these two, like, big open areas, maybe 15 feet wide or so, and they piled the dirt in and they plant things. And they're trying to use, like, one little watering bucket to keep their victory garden wet. And the first time there's a significant rain, it'll probably erode half of it away. And they're planting a bunch of arugula for some reason, and I'm not exactly 100% sure why. I guess somebody there is obsessed. But now we've got more updates. The garden, link in the description if you want to see what one of them looks like now, is now a complete mess, and I don't even fucking know half of what they're doing. They're trying to trellis the tomatoes for some unknown reason, since they're still far too young to need it. So wasting space, I guess. Again, no companion planting. It looks like some of the plants died and got replaced as well. There are water bottles lying all around, and I think I know what they're trying to do. There is a method of deep watering for plants, especially for tomatoes. This is a good thing. My grandpa used to do this. You take like liter or 2 liter bottles of soda and you carve the bottom off and you put like a little spout on the smaller end, on the opening, shove it into the ground, and you can fill that container with water into the root system, and it'll water, instead of like potentially running off the surface, it'll go directly into the soil, sort of trickle down. You can fertilize your tomatoes more effectively this way. It's more efficient. I think that's what they're intending to do. But the way they've got it currently set up, the bottles are small side up, buried halfway in the ground, and I'm not sure what purpose they serve. Maybe there's spots to mark where they're going to have these watering funnels, but I mean, in the context, it just looks funny. Then one of the gardens, they've roped off and they've declared it black only. Only black people are allowed to grow things in one of the gardens. So it'll be interesting. I wonder if the Ayn Rand Razor Fist effect will kick in, and then there'll be a female-only garden, and a gay-only garden, and the Hispanic garden, and pretty soon you'll have like 20 or 30 different little garden plots for every Tumblr gender as well, until the entire park is just pockmarked with these. It'll be interesting to see if that happens. By the way, sex assault now 3 times more common at the moment in the Seattle Autonomous Zone. I wonder why. Could it be the complete absence of any capability of policing? Yeah. I wonder how this experiment will end up turning out. Probably like Occupy, and then they've also got apparent drug use. So somebody got a hold of some hallucinogens. And they were trying to claim he's homeless, although he's young and fit enough. He didn't look homeless to me. He looked more like he was just a tweaker. Or maybe on LSD, possibly, or candy flipping or something. He was on some sort of psychotropic substance, and a lot of it. Because apparently he wandered around in one of the gardens. Now, keep in mind, he's like, kicking up soil and compacting it and just making a mess. He's got this like wooden pole. You can look this up. I don't know what you'd look it up under, but people will link it, I'm sure. He had a wooden pole and he was like trying to spin it around and do like jujitsu or something, and apparently was threatening people and challenging them to a pugil stick match in order to give them carrots or something. Allegedly that's what was going on. Now of course clearly he was high and possibly homeless, although we're not 100% sure, but this is the sort of thing that happens when you have the situation where you don't have a true sense of order. You get weird, disruptive shit like this that becomes a spectacle. Number one, and a fucking laughingstock. Number two, disrupts what other people are trying to do. Like, there's this other dude in the same garden he's hammering holes into the cardboard, I guess, to help it break down. Or I don't know exactly what their plan is with this garden. But then this other dude is just like kicking the dirt around and yelling at people and going crazy. And I just thought it's a microcosm of the problems of far leftism. You've got that innate tendency towards centralized order, which tends to be dumb, because the gardens that they're building fucking suck. Again, link in the description, you can see for yourself. There's the central side. The anarchic side is somebody who's high as balls disrupting everything. It's the perfect microcosm for a left-wing movement. We are seeing a microscopic sort of case study of what happens when the far left actually gains total dominance. And it breaks down very quickly. Eventually, the troops will move in, so to speak. They're trying to antagonize Trump into sending the Guard, but considering the situation there as it is, I don't think they're going to need the National Guard. I think what they should do, I do agree that they should shut off electricity and water to the area. I do agree with that. You know, so just sort of wait them out. Let them do what they want to do, though, and if they want to catch rainwater, which is probably illegal, you know, in far left Seattle, but, you know, they're already breaking the law anyway by by being squatters and vandals and looters and sometimes rapists and so forth already, and doing every drug under the sun. It's sort of like the Summer of Love, only it's the millennial version of it. This is like all that the millennials can do. I hate to say it, but my generation really does kind of suck when it comes to this, and I know some of these people at this point are Gen Z. Guys, you gotta up your game. The boomers get Woodstock. Gen X gets the total Silicon Valley fucking communication revolution, and millennials get, like, triggered because of a Facebook post and then have an autonomous zone where they can't even grow anything. This is nuts. I'm loving it, though. I am so glad that the far left took over this chunk of Seattle. And no offense to anyone who's in Seattle or something who's like, oh, we have to deal with this fucking shit. The city doesn't care about us. Well, you should move if you're able to do so. I think that's a good idea. Just uproot. Do whatever you need to do. At this point, Seattle, much like Minneapolis, St. Paul, should just be abandoned. Just fucking abandon these places and let them wither. As soon as the literate middle-class workforce moves out, these cities will be broke and they'll break down and they'll become blighted, and then the surrounding areas will be better. They'll begin to develop. You get secondary cities and stuff. It's not like these cities supply anything important anyway. Who fucking gives a shit about Minneapolis, St. Paul? It's a dump anyway. It's not like it magically became bad because there were race riots. It was bad to begin with. That's the whole fucking shit point. Even the left agrees with that. Yeah, the police here are brutal. They don't know what they're doing. No shit, dude. It's run by the far left and has been for a number of years, and therefore it's fiscally insolvent, dysfunctional, highly bureaucratized, and inefficient. That's what happens with leftism. It's what Texans are worried about right now. They're worried that all of the blue staters moving into Austin and Dallas and places like that are going to flip the state, and that pretty soon Texas will actually be lost. I don't know that that's actually going to happen, but that's a legitimate concern for anywhere where a bunch of liberals are moving in, I suppose. This is what happens when a group of liberal college kids without a clue who just want to get high, fanatics who call themselves, you know, anti-fascist, but really they stand for massive centrality and tyranny, and you know, people who are racist, like the BLM organizers. This is what happens when they try to form a microstate. You get this sort of fucking shit. Looking at their friggin' garden, it's so great. I'm like, I'm one person. But if you gave me the basically inexhaustible resources that they have, if you gave me a nice piece of turf, and hundreds of bags of soil, and a dozen other people willing to work for a couple of afternoons, I fucking guarantee you I could make a garden way better than what they've made. I could do it with less manpower and resources, actually. It wouldn't even be difficult. These people have Soros bucks, and they just steal whatever they want. Why the fuck can't you fucking figure out how to build a garden? The best thing is, they've got little bricks in the path now lining it, I guess to delineate where you're supposed to walk or not walk, or to hold the cardboard down. Why didn't you take the bricks, make the garden overall smaller, but raise it up further so that you wouldn't even need like the cardboard bullshit, or at the very least you could get some drainage going so that your crops don't wither and die. I hope they start growing like sweet potatoes and stuff like that. I can't wait to see what they do with the black only garden that they've constructed. I mean, come on, segregated Antifagarden. 2020 is a riot. That's about all. Peace out.